Hello, hello. Okay, so sorry for the um short stop or long start. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I'm trying to make sure that everybody is admitted. Um, okay, cool. Oh, actually, I see one more person. Let me just admit them into the main room. Okay, great. So welcome everybody. This is part one of two for the Research Ready webinar series, and today's topic is going to be research opportunities at UCSD. I do want to start with a little disclaimer that I think some of you might be new incoming transfer students, and that's okay. And I say that because if you have been part of STEP so far, the summer enrichment transfer program, if you're an incoming transfer student and you've been part of the research and involvement series, a lot of the same information will be talked about today. So there might be some duplicate information. So just kind of want to give that heads up that if you have been to the STEP webinars of research and involvement as a new incoming transfer student, you might see the same information. But okay, I'm sharing my screen and I think everybody can hear me. If not, please let me know. Um, we're gonna go until 2. Really, I think I'm gonna go until 1:45, and then if I'll have maybe 10 or 15 minutes for like Q&A. You can unmute yourself or put questions in the chat, or I think there's a Q&A feature. There is a Q&A feature. Yeah, if you want to use the Q&A feature, you can do that. But yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for being here. I want to introduce myself. I'm the Research and Involvement Coordinator at the Triton Transfer Hub, and my name is Elizabeth. So full-time professional staff at the Transfer Hub. I'm also liaison to the Undergraduate Research Hub, which is another office on campus. And so I work closely with them, and their staff also takes appointments with students. Um, yeah, let's see. Admit. If you're a new transfer student, I'll start taking appointments with new transfer students the start of fall quarter. If you're a continuing transfer student here today, which I think maybe majority, if you don't mind putting in the chat if you're continuing or new income transfer student, that would be kind of helpful for me to gauge where people are at. I think we might have a mix, but if we're all continuing students, that's fine. Thank you so much for putting, let's see, continuing. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay. New transfer. Okay. Continuing, incoming. Okay. So we have a couple of new incoming transfer students. A little bit of a mix. Okay, cool. Totally cool. If you are a new transfer student, I will be starting taking appointments with new transfers or new incoming students starting the fall quarter. The reason that is um, I want you to do the STEP program. My webinars I've completed all my webinars, but they are on the Triton Transfer Hub website, so you can look at the recordings. And I say this because I think it's important to look through the recordings because that kind of gives you a basis knowledge of like how things work at UCSD in regards to research. So that's the only reason why I'm like, yeah, let's start talking in fall quarter. If you're a continuing transfer student, I can meet with you, starting today. I think I have availability for Friday, and if not, for sure next week. So definitely. Okay, moving on. I did want to give a heads up. The Department of Psychiatry is currently recruiting. I don't know if there's any students who are, maybe a cognitive science, neuroscience, or whatever, or psych students. But one of the program coordinators for the Department of Psychiatry did reach out to me and asked me to pass on along the word that they're looking for maybe one or two undergrads who to assist with recruitment and enrollment for a study. The principal investigator or director is Dr. Kelly Courtney. The study includes behavioral assessments and neuroimaging fMRI. The Courtney Lab is what it's called under the Department of Psychiatry. And if you're interested, I would contact vrstudy@health.ucsd.edu. I would contact them maybe today if you do have interest, because it does look like they're looking for two students. So anyways, not really part of the presentation, but just something that they reached out to. Okay, so this is more so for my continuing transfer students. We've probably done either 1 or 2 years already at UCSD, and maybe some of you are going into your final year, or maybe some of you're going into, your second year out of your 3 year, however much time you have at UCSD. Why am I having this webinar now? Like why like during the summer? And the reason that is because it is hard to get into research, and this is more so for our graduating for those of you who are graduating this year, it's hard to get into research the end of winter quarter, start of spring quarter. And that's because options will be limited. So oftentimes around the end of winter quarter and all during spring quarter, I oftentimes transfer students meet with me who are graduating, in June, and they're like, I haven't done research yet and I really want to get into it. And we do our best to try to see options. They are limited, and I just don't want anybody who's continuing or who's going into their final year at UCSD this upcoming year to be in that position. So I think by you being here, that's great. If you're in that position, right, you're going into your senior year or your final year at UCSD, and you want to get into research, I think now's really a good time, which is why I'm having this webinar, right? So to prevent that from happening in the future, because I have seen that, yeah, graduating students who reach out end of winter quarter, start of spring quarter, it's kind of hard to get into research, at that point, just because options may be limited. Okay, so on with the frequently asked questions. These are some questions that you might be asking yourself and that students have asked me, which is, do I have to do research at UCSD? And the answer is maybe, right? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Here's some reasons why you might want to do research. So HIP requirement, high impact practice. So your college may actually require you to complete a set of number of 199 independent study credits, and this can be done by doing hours with a professor, the faculty mentor program, or some classes. By chance, if anybody's in sixth college in the Zoom right now, you may have to do some type of like research because you have to do that experiential learning requirement. And you're like, what's experiential learning? You can fulfill that by, research is an option to be able to fulfill that. So something to keep in mind. Middle major requirement. So some majors might actually require you to do some type of research. For example, if you're doing a BS in psychology, you might have to do like a thesis at the end, like at your senior year. And again, it depends from program to program, but this can be done by doing hours with a professor, with doing the faculty mentor program, which I will mention in just a bit, and maybe some classes too. Personal preference. So you might probably came to UCSD and you were set on getting research opportunities, whether that's to build your resume for graduate school, career, or maybe you're just like excited. You're always excited about research, and now you're like, yeah, I really have this interest in like, I don't know, like neuroscience. Maybe, for example, I had a student that was very specific and was like, I'm very interested in researching how the brain works in like infants and stuff, or something. So maybe you've always had a personal interest in like a topic, and you just kind of want to explore that in research here at UCSD. Or maybe you always had this, but you didn't have the chance. So yeah, you might want to do research just because of that. Um, can I get paid to do research? Yes, here are some general ways to get paid for your research at UCSD. Some research programs, and I'll talk about which ones in just a bit. Funding can also be offered through offices, departments, and colleges at UCSD. Research scholarships too. Faculty might also have their own funding to be able to pay for their research assistants. So, or to pay for like their project or their lab or whatever it may be. Corporate that, right? So if you get an external research position, like, that's external to UCSD, they might also have pay. And then local businesses and research institutions. So UCSD is surrounded by different research institutions. For example, like Salk Institute, they might also have paid positions for students. Okay, so when it comes to research, you can be paid in academic credits or money. So for example, let's say for the upcoming school year, you secured like a research assistantship with a professor working on a research project, and you're working with Professor Smith. And sorry, I had to change, I should have changed this, but because LAPE doesn't exist. But let's say for fall quarter, you do a program that you can get a monetary stipend. And then for winter quarter, you get academic credit. And then for spring quarter, you like applied to trials and you got into trials and you're getting another monetary stipend. Um, so you're doing like the same research for a whole year, but you're getting compensated differently each quarter. So that's kind of how you can also, get compensated for the research that you do. Okay, when do I have to start? There's no rules, but some recommendations. I know I also already mentioned for my graduating transfer students who are in the Zoom, I would say that right now in summer is a good time to prepare to reach out for fall quarter. um, Reach out or apply for programs that are open up in fall quarter. In general, right? If you're not graduating this year or you're incoming, this is kind of like my general advice. For fall quarter, it's a good time to network, outreach, and connect to faculty, and apply to programs of interest that will start in winter quarter, right? And then I put an asterisk there, like if you're feeling ready, apply to some winter programs. In winter, start applying for spring and summer programs. So yeah, spring and summer programs start recruiting as early as winter quarter. And then summer programs is a good time to do full-time research. So a lot of programs summer research programs typically offer like full-time, like 30 hours a week in summer. And it could be that like you might have more monetary stipends to during that time period as well. And then again, summer apps open in like earliest like winter quarter. So you kind of see like um a pattern, right? Right now we're in summer, we're preparing for fall quarter. While you're in fall quarter, you're preparing for winter quarter. And if you're in winter quarter, you're preparing for spring and summer. So in a way, you kind of always have to be a quarter ahead if you want to get into research. It doesn't happen, well, it's hard for it to happen in the same quarter, but yeah, that's why it's good to think ahead, and it's good that you're all here because we're in summer and we have plenty of time to plan. Okay. And for those couple of people that just joined, I'm gonna go until like I have like maybe 20, 25 more minutes. This session is also recorded and I plan to upload it to our YouTube. So if you would like me to I'll likely send it to everybody in this Zoom after, but it is being recorded. There's a Q&A feature if you want to submit questions, and um, yeah, and at the end, I'll have at least 10 or 15 minutes for like Q&A. Anyways, back to the presentation. So where do you find research opportunities is another good question. And oftentimes when I meet with students, the big question is like, is there a place where I can see everything? And unfortunately, no, because UCSD is like so big, there's so many resources, there's so many opportunities, it's hard to find a place where everything is in one. So that's why I created like this tree map to not just help me, but also help students like see the different places where research opportunities exist. Um, so we have the Real Portal, the networking and contacting is also another place, honors programs, and the undergraduate research hub. And then I'll talk about each of these four in just a bit. So Real Portal, it stands for the Research Experience and Applied Learning Portal, and it's currently under maintenance. So right now, the URL is real.ucsd.edu. If you go now, you're not going to be able to like log in to the portal. Usually you would log in with your SSO or your student sign-on. It's currently under maintenance until fall quarter. So it is set to open during fall quarter. And it's going to change in that the Real Portal will also have like everything for like the academic internship program, UCDC. So I think all those opportunities are going to be like all put into one to the Real Portal. So what you will find, and this is again subject to change because it is currently under maintenance, it's kind of like Handshake, but for research and experiential learning opportunities. So some stuff that you'll probably find on there is like research, internships, service learning opportunities, leadership opportunities, and all that good stuff. So again, this is subject to change, but at least before the maintenance, that's what you can find. But I'm sure that it's like being updated for the better. If you do have questions, you can email the experiential learning specialist at elt@ucsd.edu. Real Portal. Again, this is subject to change, but this is what it looked like before it went under maintenance. You can see that like on the left-hand side, well, at the top you see the Real Portal logo. On the left-hand side, you see filters. So like on campus, off campus, academic standing, you can select a department, compensation, is it paid, volunteer, academic credit. And then here you would see like the postings. And then this arrow, when you drop down the caret, it would show you more information about, for example, volunteer bioengineers to model mitochondrial networks and skeletal myofibers. And if you want to learn that more, you could expand it. And then it'll also tell you like how to apply, and what is needed to apply, like a resume, a transcript, or cover letter. So that's what the Real Portal looked like. Again, this is subject to change, and I'm sure it's going to have maybe a new face in the fall quarter, but just know that this will also still be a good place to look for research opportunities. Okay, networking and contacting. So get connected to research through networking and emailing, reaching out to professors with whom you have taken or are going to take classes. Right. So for my continuing students, you've probably taken some major courses already, if you know, at least just in your first year. So you can reach out to professors via email, you know, go to their office hours or after class. I know right now, you know, we're like towards the end of summer, and so a lot of professors are off contract. And so it might not be the best time to reach out to professors like today. A sweet spot that I would say is closer to fall quarter. So fall quarter starts September 22nd. I would do it around like September 15th, so that it's before like, you know, the quarter gets busy, but it's close enough to the quarter where I think professors are kind of coming back. So anyways, and the second part of this research webinar ready webinar series, which is on Friday at 1 p.m., I'm gonna like break down how to cold email professors if you do wanna tune in. It's the same Zoom meeting ID as well. Okay, moving on to the second bullet point there. You can also search course catalogs and departmental websites for faculty members who teach courses that you soon hope to take or have taken already. If you're like, maybe like reaching out to professors is like a little intimidating, which it can be. TAs who are teaching assistants, graduate students, they're all also like resources and people that you can reach out to. If you are interested in getting into research as well, if you're like, that's like a little less intimidating. Yeah, so again, more cold emailing that will come in the second part of this Research Ready webinar series, which will be on Friday. And I'm just gonna grab my water real quick. Yeah, and welcome for anybody who's just joining. I'm in the middle of the presentation. This session is being recorded. But if you have questions, feel free to utilize the Q&A feature. And at the end, I have we can spend like 10 minutes asking questions. Okay. Next, honors program. So your major may offer honors programs or may require a research thesis to graduate. I know I said that earlier, but it's good to know that you might have research embedded into um, you might have research embedded into your major curriculum already. So it could be that you might have to do research anyway. So you can check your major department website. Something that I appreciate about UCSD websites is that the websites are usually very simple and easy to follow. For example, the Transfer Hub website is tritontransfers.ucsd.edu. So when you're thinking about your major department website, and if we have time, I could do a little demo on how to find it. Your major department website's pretty easy. Um, Anyways, it's good to explore your major department website. For example, psychology.ucsd.edu. If you go onto that website, you'll see that, and you explore a bit. They actually have a psychology honors program. Um, so if there's any psych majors and you're going into your senior year and you want to do research, I would look into it. They usually have info sessions in the fall, so to learn more about how to apply for the honors program. And again, I know I said this earlier too, but Six College has an experiential learning requirement too. So if you right are a sixer, right, you might have to do research can be something you can do to fulfill that experiential learning requirement. Okay, and then lastly, the Undergraduate Research Hub. So the Undergraduate Research Hub, also known as URH for short, is another office on campus that focuses on all things research, not just for transfer students, but for all undergraduate students. Their office is located at Student Center B. This is a picture of their front office. For those of you who have been on campus already, they're located near Art of Espresso. That Art of Espresso is a coffee cart with purple umbrellas. They're right in front of there. So you can visit them. Some services that they have are research programs, research conferences. They also give research advice, staff support. So they also have staff members that you can meet with and book appointments with as well. And they also have travel funding for students who have completed a research program. And they have research programs that are yearly, quarterly, and summer research programs. And we'll go through them together here. So this is the Undergraduate Research Hub website. You'll see, again, lovely simple URLs. This is ugresearch.ucsd.edu. Go to the homepage, you can go over to programs, and then you can put all URH programs, and that's what we'll look at today. And then I will give you research programs that are hosted specifically by the Undergraduate Research Hub. For example, the California Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. Oh, thank you, Tessa. I didn't know you were in here. For example, in science, engineering, and mathematics, it's a UC-wide program that supports summer research program for students majoring. This program will also, the application will open in fall quarter. So definitely if you click on it here, it'll give you eligibility requirements and stuff. Um, a lot of the deadlines for these programs have not been solidified, but I do know from the coordinators that they will open sometime in fall quarter. I know that's very vague, but just know that majority of these, for example, camp will open in fall. Empower is another program for engineering, specifically transfer engineers. Faculty mentor program, we can look at this one together. It will be offered for winter and spring. So that means that the application will open in fall quarter. These are a little outdated, but I did hear from the coordinator that the application for FMP will be available sometime in fall quarter. the McNair program, so this is funded by TRIO. If you are interested in doing a doctoral program in the future, um, I think that this might be a really good supportive program. Um, the application date, again, it's not solidified, but I was told by the coordinator that it will open in early fall quarter. Yes. And let's see, the Region Scholar Research Initiative. Start Astro and Start Neuro are for Start Astro are for astronomy and astrophysics majors, and then Start Neuro for neuroscience majors. These two programs have already recruited they start their recruitment before transfer students um are accepted. So I believe they're not accepting new members, but these are also part of the undergraduate research hubs programs. And then there's a trust program, programs and applications. So the application for winter quarter will open again sometime in fall quarter, and it will also be due this fall quarter. These dates are a little outdated, but I did hear from the coordinator that they will be opening sometime in fall quarter. Yeah. TRELS and the faculty mentor program are two programs where before you apply, you do have to secure a faculty mentor yourself. Um, so the way that you can go about it is by reaching out to professors. For my continuing students, you can reach out to professors that you've had classes with and maybe had a good connection with. But if and this could be for everybody, you can also cold email professors to ask to serve as your faculty mentor. And again, on Friday, I'll do that breakdown of the cold email and what to include. But just know that you do have to acquire a faculty mentor by the time that you apply. Some of these programs might also require a letter of recommendation. For example, I know the McNair program does require a letter of recommendation. The nice thing is that it doesn't have to be from a professor at UCSD. It could be from maybe somebody from, if you're just transferring from community college or another four-year university, you can ask somebody from your prior college to provide a letter of rec so that they can speak to your ability and interest in research. So just know that these things, some of these things might need time. If you do have interest, definitely look through like the eligibility and then the before applying and application process. And then I might be able to also answer some questions too. Okay, moving on. So those are the undergraduate research hub programs. But there's also an Airtable of like, and again, this isn't an exhaustive list, but it is like a Airtable of UCSD programs. And actually, this is also on the undergraduate research hub website. We can go to programs, all UCSD, and it is here. And it's nice because you can kind of filter it out through like fields and like majors and stuff. The only thing is, if you do see something that you're interested in, I would reach out to that department directly, just because the undergraduate research hub, they don't manage or update the Airtable, but it is a good start to looking for research programs for sure. All right. Okay, moving on. Oh, actually, that's all I had for today. So let's see. I think one thing, since we do have some time, I wanted to do a demo of how to look for your major department website. So I'm going to use psychology as an example. So I'm just going to open up a new tab and I'm going to pretend that, there you go, psychology UCSD. Go to UCSD psychology, and you can go about it different ways. Sometimes under undergraduate program, you'll see like a tab for research. And then it gives you information on like research related to your major. And this is what I found for the Department of Psychology. There is something called the Common Application that opens before each quarter. For fall quarter, it is closed, but it will open sometime in fall quarter to apply for a research opportunity in winter quarter. So it's basically a Google form, and they give you a list of psychology research labs and they have you rank them. So I would look through that list and you would rank them and you would put that on the Google form. You would also write why you're interested in research. And I believe they might also ask for a resume. I don't remember. It's currently closed for fall quarter, but it will open up sometime in fall quarter for to be matched in winter quarter. Now, I will say that not everybody who fills out this form is guaranteed a position. If you don't get matched the first time, that's okay. You're gonna apply again the next quarter. So anyways, all that just to say is that, by going to your major department website and looking at research, it does take you to at least like one research opportunity involved in your major program. So it is good to be familiar with your major department website because sometimes they have catered like experiences or opportunities that are related to your major. Okay, back to the presentation. Yeah, so that's it in terms of presentation. That's my email there. Again, feel free to reach out if you do have more questions. Fall quarter, keep an eye out for our social media and our newsletter because that's when I will like announce when appointments are ready to take for me, to take with me. So it's good for you to like explore programs now, get familiar with what's available. And then once fall quarter rolls around, you're ready to like start applying and then maybe we can check in then. Okay, I will stop sharing for a second and check out the chat. Let's see. Okay, I I'm looking at the Q&A. Was Dr. Kelly's research program paid? It didn't specify. So when the lab coordinator reached out to me, she didn't specify if it was paid, I think. Um, but if you do have interest, I encourage you to reach out to that email that I put there. Um, yeah, so sorry I couldn't answer that question. Oh, I know what I could do. I can let me share my screen one more time because I see some folks asking about meeting with me. So Triton transfers. So let me show you how to book an appointment with me. And then I want to show something else. UCSD.edu. So you go to About Us, Contact and Appointments, and then you'll also see that you can book an appointment with peer coaches. You can book an appointment with me. And then it'll give you options, or it should give you options for virtual and in-person. And I will have this updated too, as I will also be doing group appointments in fall quarter. And then you can also book with Allie. One more thing for those of you in the Zoom who are incoming transfer students, I know I mentioned STEP at the beginning. If you go to STEP, and then you can click on the recaps page. This is the page where I have recordings of my past sessions about research and involvement. So anything that says I highly encourage you to look through them. You can, I'm going to open one, for example. Let's see. You can open one, and it'll give you notes if you don't want to like watch the whole thing. You could also like watch the video, the YouTube video. I've heard that students sometimes like just kind of they go on a walk or something, or they're like just put in the video and like listen to it as a podcast. I would recommend that. So definitely like it's a good time now to like kind of look through those webinars if you haven't already. So that once fall quarter starts, we can meet. And this is for new incoming transfer students. Okay. Naomi asked, I understand that some research opportunities are where do you, yeah, you do your own projects and some where you assist a professor by working with their data managing. How do we know which opportunities are which? I will say for the research programs under the undergraduate research hub, for example, Trails and the faculty mentor program, usually those are structured where it's more independent, where you work on your own project, and then the faculty mentor is kind of just like guiding you or giving you advice here and there. Um, Typically, if you look at faculty profiles and sometimes they have a lab website, that's usually like their own project. And if you reach out, it's for the you can so that you can like get involved with the project that they have going on. So that's typically how you can like distinguish the two. Or yeah, you can also reach out to professors to see if they have a project that they're also already working on. Right, doesn't have to be a research lab or like a research project. And you can kind of like jump on that to get like experience that way. So that's kind of like the best way to distinguish the two. Okay. As of right now, you're only accepting continuing transfers. Yes. And the reason that is that I do encourage you to watch the step recordings so that you get like a foundational like knowledge on like how research works at UCSD. Actually, I feel like if you're in this webinar, it kind of and Friday's webinar, it's the same information. So Jaden, for example, if you want to meet close before fall quarter, I'm okay with that since you did both webinars. Okay. Let's see. As an incoming transfer, hoping to get involved in research and physics as quickly as possible. What are the first steps I should take? Okay, or are there other things I should do? Okay, Unity, I think attending these webinars and also the reviewing the step webinars that I had for the research and involvement series is a good step because then that gives you again, sorry I'm for repeating stuff, but that gives you like the foundational, like the basics of like how to go about research at UCSD so that you can know what like everything that's available um so that you can get that. So I would go through the webinars first. And then in fall quarter, check in. We can check in to see, like what steps you want to take. Great question. And then Sophia, I think Tessa gave you my acuity. Thank you. Good questions. We have until 2. Feel free to also unmute as well. Yeah, any other questions that I can answer?
Hi, I made a question, but I think you didn't see it. It's about
Kimberly, I
the,
see you may be unmuted, but I don't hear anything. Not sure if you're asking a question.
can you hear me?
I hear you on my side. I wonder if
Or
Elizabeth's
maybe it's
having a
me?
speaker issue.
Yeah.
Oh, I think, okay, Unity says she can hear you. I cannot hear you. I don't know why.
Um,
Um,
I wrote the question on the
it could be
chat.
my own speakers, so I think it's me. I think I'm the problem. Tessa, I see you unmuted and I also can't hear you either. I think it's my speakers or something. Oh, okay. Do you know something about the faculty? Yeah, I apologize. I guess you can't unmute. Sorry. Um, and my volume is up, so that's weird. Maybe I can wait, Tessa, can you say something again? I think I
Can you
fixed
hear me
it.
now?
Yes, okay. I just had to switch. Oops. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. How do you know something about the faculty mentor program? Good question. Let me double check FMP. Mm,
I can do a guest answer on this if you'd like. 'Cause I actually know this program well.
Sure.
So the FMP program is really, really small. When FMP opens, the emergency medical program will open with it, and it's only for the fall and winter quarter. I will say they take very, very few folks. It is I think it's probably the most competitive research program at UC San Diego to get into because its cohort, I want to say, is about 5 people. So that's always just helpful to know. The way it will work is you're paired with a faculty physician who works for UC San Diego School of Medicine. And whatever research they're doing, you would be connected and you would do um, on-site hours in the ER for part of it, and then also work on research that's related to the work that you'd be doing in the ER. So it's really pretty geared for pre-med students. And then you apply through the faculty program when that opens. But that's my memory. I remember giving a presentation on it with their presenter a little while ago. So that's my knowledge from the past.
I saw that they did, the last that's updated on their website was for the 24-25 cycle. I think if I remember correctly, it was paused sometime last year. But I don't know what the status of it is this upcoming year. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, I think my final great advice that I will reiterate again is that if you're going into your last year at UCSD, like you're a senior, and you want to get into research or you want to get some of that experience under your belt before you graduate, yeah, now's a good time to look into like a research program or, like cold email professors. Now's a good time to prepare for that so that you can, you have the tools to go after apply to those research programs in fall quarter, and cold email professors once fall quarter rolls around too. So again, I'll say that just so that we can prevent, limited options later in the year. So yeah. All right. If there's no other questions, thank you all for being here. And hopefully you can join Friday's session. All right, everybody, take care.